For sewer?
Yes.
But, and in, the applicants, did they ask to be included in the benefit district?
It was for the petition.
It was, at least,
Yes.
Yeah, it was formed at the request of the petitioner, the applicant.
okay.
So what negative impact would it have if there were wells to the infrastructure we've added? Like, do we have to be so far away from the main that goes through the property, or do you know?
That's never really been an issue that we've discussed or considered. I don't know if there is a threat to the infrastructure. It's more of it could preempt development that could capitalize on the infrastructure. That's been more of the issue related to the infrastructure.
So, what was the cost on the
Short of $4
benefit
million.
district? What's
Just
that?
short of $4 million.
Just short of $4 million. That was completed when?
Roughly in 2008, is my understanding.
Are you asking when the project was completed, or when?
Yeah, when the project was completed.
So in 20 years, will this infrastructure still be adequate, or will we have to then, after the CUP's over, reinvest or re-improve, or, I mean, you don't know, I guess, but do you have kind of a guess?
Well, the lines in the ground would probably be fine. The lift station would have issues, the pumps and motors that we have down there.
So is the lift station doing any work currently, or is it awaiting development?
It's awaiting development. There's nothing that flows to it currently.
In the properties that were, that are adjacent, that have producing wells on them, I mean, again, they're unimproved. There's no benefit district for them. And when they were developed, where did they fall in the development map and comprehensive plan? Did these predate any modern development plan?
Are you referring to the adjacent properties of the oil wells? I'd have to look at the comprehensive plan land use map, which I can do. What's that? Well, they're within Johnson County, but they were subject to our comprehensive plan, so if you can give me I can answer that question.
They're subject to our comprehensive plan, but not our zoning authority.
Right.
For the properties outside of city limits.
Yeah.
So we can plan that area, but we can't, if they file for application for oil wells in the area outside the city, they don't have to go through the same process that the current applicant does.
What else was part of the benefit district? I mean, is Celebration Park, which is just south, or the school, which is just south?
The benefit district for this project, for the sewer improvements, was only the parcels owned by, collectively referred to as the Russell family. There's several LLCs, as he mentioned, but it was only for that, self-contained.
So they asked us to make these improvements. We made these improvements at their behest.
Yes.
And when did they start actually making payments on the improvements? I mean, you said it was completed at the beginning of 2008.
Their first payments were due in tax levy year 2012, so 2013 operating budget for us. Their tax bills were due 2012.
So, why the 4-year lag? Just for the people that are here that might not be familiar?
Because you can't issue debt on something that has a lawsuit on it.
So we were being sued by the applicants between 2008 and 2012?
Yes, sir.
I would like to explain that if I could.
Certainly.
And I do explain it more in detail in the letter that's in your packet. You may have also received the letter that we sent directly to you. There may be some new council members, but
It's in the packet.
it is in the packet. And so, basically, I'm sorry?
I didn't say
Oh, sorry.
that, sir.
Okay. Basically, in the year 2000, the city sued my clients for condemnation. And as a part of that condemnation lawsuit, a settlement agreement was entered into with respect to the sewer benefit district, bringing the property within the city limits, and the terms with respect to repayment of that assessments with respect to that sewer benefit district. In 2005, my clients petitioned to have the sewer benefit district created. It was approved in 2005, we may have started in 2004. And then the sewers were completed around 2008, 2009. There were problems with the sewers, with the contractor, I recall, that caused some additional delays. That took some negotiations between the city and the contractor. And then there was a vote to put the assessments on the tax rolls. Although we met with the city officials and their counsel at the time, the ordinance did not include the terms of the settlement agreement. So in order to prevent the assessment from hitting the tax rolls, we filed a friendly lawsuit. It was all done with the, I think we even gave an advance copy to Mr. Hubbard at the time. We've had numerous meetings with the city. I think I've met with city staff and officials probably 30 times in the last 10 years with respect to this property. And so basically, as a part of the settlement agreement that was reached in that lawsuit, the city then came back and did a separate ordinance which complied with the terms of the settlement agreement reached in the year 2000. So that's kind of how all that took place. Happy to answer any questions on that.
Any questions for Mr. Gilchrist?
Well, so let me get this straight about the friendly lawsuit in 2009, I'm assuming?
Right.
Correct? Was that lawsuit specifically then to prevent imposition of those taxes on the tax rolls? I mean, until they could come up with a settlement and a separate ordinance to be in conformance with the original?
Yeah, the only way to change it was to file a lawsuit under state code. The city couldn't change it, as we were advised by Mr. Hubbard at the time.
Other questions?
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gilchrist. My guess is you're probably still going to be available
Yes.
if we need to call you back.
Thank you, Council. My name is David Waters. I'm the attorney for Highway 2440 Roadside Partners that filed the protest petition in this matter. I'll just ask for just a few minutes. My clients couldn't be here tonight, but they asked that I show up and speak for them and ask that this body uphold the recommendation of both your planning staff and your planning commission in upholding the denial of this CUP. The reason being that this application actively works against everything the city has planned for this area, everything in which you've invested, every message you've sent to other property owners, like my client, that this is the area for future residential development. You master plan this area for future residential growth. That's a community plan which the community buys into. Your plan is a message to both owners and developers about what they can expect from you and about what you can expect from them in the development of this area. You invested heavily in a regional park, one that would attract quality development and support the planned residential development for this area. Your school district invested heavily here and continues to. And you invested in the infrastructure to serve the developments for this area. Now, at the risk of being facetious, oil derricks, they don't make good utility customers, which is what you need for this area. They don't fill your schools. They don't use your playgrounds or ball fields if you've constructed in this area. In fact, they will help push residents even further away. You know, tonight the applicant spoke about, well, we just want to wait for the market to turn around before we do something. Approval of this CUP can, I promise you, will push that date further and further back and make us wait even longer for that to happen. Now, certainly my client wishes that development had taken off sooner. They're holding the property. They still intend to use it and develop it for residential purposes. They wish this had taken off faster. They wish the Great Recession had never happened and that recovery had been swifter. But this is not just about one landowner's own personal economic problems or its refusal to pay amounts which it owes to the city. This is and must be about land use, which is something, frankly, we haven't heard a lot about tonight. And what is proper land use for the area? What land use is, and I'll be brief here, it's looking at a particular piece of land, determining whether that use